Welcome to a presentation by the Carolina Nature Coalition. We're happy to see people here today at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and want to thank the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship for allowing us to have our meeting here for today. I want to thank Stephanie Jones for being our technical person. Thank you. I want to thank also Newburn Now, who presented it on their website, and so it's great to be here tonight. The Carolina Nature Coalition has been putting on these presentations for the last at least 8 years. We just do something monthly, and this is going to be a great presentation. We have a great speaker, someone I've known for a while. Caprice Pratt is a gardener, a professional gardener, I've seen her gardens, and they're really nice. They're great. She is also an environmentalist. She is part of the Sierra Club's Plastic Free by the Sea Committee, and has been speaking. She's speaking to us today, but she has been speaking around in Carteret County at many different clubs and events. So she is well prepared to talk to us about the plastic free by the sea. So I'm going to just let Caprice do her thing.
Thanks, Michael. Michael, I actually did a presentation for the League of Women Voters of all of North Carolina a couple of weeks ago, and I think we had 68 attendees. It was Zoom, so a lot more people could attend it, but it was great because we had a pretty big outreach. And I'd forgotten to tell you that. Yeah, well, I had been doing it just in Carteret County, but I had done one for the local league, and then she asked if I could do it for the state. As Michael said, I am a member of, I was a member of the Sierra Club, and I went to a movie they were showing called Plastic Ocean. And I had always been an environmentalist before that. It started when I saw the commercial with the Native American with the tear running down its eye when someone chucked the garbage out of the window. And I was maybe 8 or 9 when that came out. And from that moment on, I was like, oh, we can't litter and we can't do this. But then when I saw Plastic Ocean, I was mad, heartbroken. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make this my own personal mission to reduce my plastic usage. And then I found a group of people that were also very concerned about plastics, and that's how Plastic Free by the Sea started. And our main focus now is on Beaufort, North Carolina. We're hoping to not do a plastic bag ban because those don't work as good as charging fees for bags. And we've actually wanting to go to the local businesses down in Beaufort to just ask them, before any laws can get passed or ordinances, just asking the local businesses, would you consider an alternative besides plastic? You know, COVID hit and we sort of, like with most groups, kind of lost momentum, but I feel like we're getting that back. And part of the group is trying to educate people about the plastics problem. A lot of people don't know. I'm sure a lot of people in here probably do know, but maybe there'll be something in this presentation you haven't heard before. So I'm going to get started on the presentation. Oh, okay. Plastic, why should we care? Plastic isn't something most people think about, let alone be concerned by it. In fact, our lives are so inundated with it, we may not even realize how much we use or throw away. I bet all of us could take a few seconds just to think back on our day today, and you might be surprised at how much plastic you bought, you threw away, you came in contact with. However, since plastic is overwhelming the planet, we all need to chip in to slow down this process. Each year, at least 17.6 billion tons of plastic leak into the ocean, which is the equivalent to dumping the contents of a garbage truck into the ocean every minute. If no action is taken, this is expected to increase by 2 per minute by 2030 and 4 per minute by 2050. Now, here in North Carolina, I live very close to the beach, and of course we don't see this here. I mean, other countries, they do, they just go dump it in a body of water. And I guarantee you that if we were all on the beach and we saw a dump truck backing up to empty its load, we would all freak out. But because we don't see it like that, it sort of trickles in, we don't really think about how bad it is. How did we get here? Plastic was first made from a material called celluloid, which was made of cellulose, the polymer found in all plants. Plastics, as we know it, didn't come along until the early part of the 20th century. Once they began to be made from the same stuff that was giving us abundant, cheap energy, petroleum. Oil companies had waste gases like ethylene coming out of the stacks of their refineries. Chemists discovered they could use those gases as building blocks to create all sorts of novel polymers instead of working only with polymers that already existed in nature. A world of possibilities opened up. Anything and everything could be made of plastic. And so it was, because plastics are cheap. It wasn't until the mid-1950s that single-use plastics became part of our lives. We can thank Lloyd Stouffer for creating this global monster. In the 1950s, he argued that the future of plastics is in the trash can. We have to stop thinking about reuse packages and concentrate on single use. If the plastics industry wants to drive sales, it must teach people how to waste. We've clearly learned Stouffer's assigned lesson. Now we have to unlearn it. All of this plastic waste has enormous potential to harm the environment, wildlife, and humans. It travels through the world's rivers and oceans, accumulating on the beaches and found floating at the surface, suspended in the water column, or on the bottom of almost all bodies of water. This debris harms physical habitats, transports chemical pollutants, threatens aquatic life, and interferes with human uses of river, marine, and coastal environments. Plastic is often eaten by birds and fish, concentrating toxic chemicals in their tissues and filling their stomachs, causing them to slowly starve to death. Scientists have also discovered that we are consuming plastic in the form of microplastics. Plastic that is 0.5 millimeters across or considerably less, usually invisible to the naked eye. It's been found in fresh fish, canned fish, sea salt, chicken gizzards, honey, beer, and bottled water. And I think the list has grown even more now. I mean, I don't know if everyone here loves oysters, but I do, and the thought of having microplastics in my oysters is not something I want to keep having happen. I want to focus a little more on microplastics since it really impacts our local fisheries. And this information was actually given to me by Penny Hooper, who is a huge environmentalist, and her husband is a fisherman. Many animals that live in the shallows of our estuaries are filter feeders. Like worms and clams and oysters, and form the bottom of the food chain. They eat microplastic plants and animals and consume plastic as it breaks down into tiny microscopic pieces. As larger animals eat the smaller animals, the microplastics accumulate up the food chain in ever greater quantities and cannot be removed by the animals because they are not part of the natural food cycle. They simply bioaccumulate. The humans who eat the seafood and drink fresh water contaminated with microplastics will also accumulate the plastic. The estimate is that we humans could be accumulating as much as a credit card-sized piece of plastic per week. There's a formation in the Pacific Ocean called the Garbage Patch Gyre, which is a region where ocean currents carry in and deposit floating plastic trash. This area has grown to 3 times the size of France and just swirls in the ocean, gradually breaking down to microplastic-sized pieces. The scientific estimate is that by 2050, there will be more pounds of plastic in the ocean than there are pounds of fish. Sort of terrifying. Now, what can we do to help? First, like I mentioned at the beginning, when I watched Plastic Ocean, I decided to rethink my choices. And the big one, refuse single-use plastic. Reduce your consumption, reuse. I think everything might be hard, but as much as you possibly can, because I know some things aren't, you can't really reuse everything, but refurbish old stuff, repair before you replace, repurpose, be creative, reinvent. Recycling is the last option. And why do I say this? Well, recycling used to be thought of as a solution. However, only about 20% of plastic gets recycled. Recycling centers just can't keep up with the sheer volume of waste. I'm in no way saying not to recycle, but it's more important to reduce your usage and refuse single-use plastics. Now, I want to talk about some ways that we can reduce our personal usage. And we were talking earlier, one of the easiest ways to do this, and what I mentioned, what we're trying to do in Beaufort, is take your bags to the grocery store, your own bags. And I know you can get paper at the grocery store, but paper is actually pretty bad too because it is also contributing to climate change. So it's better to get a bag and reuse it. He said he's had a bag for 30 years that he's been using, which he has gotten that's amazing. I've got to give you kudos for that. And then I'm going to show you, like in the slide, reusing something for something else. So I'm going to show you how to make a grocery bag out of a t-shirt with just a t-shirt and scissors. And it takes, I won't spend the whole time showing you, but I'll show you the first steps and then y'all can go home, because we all have old t-shirts, and then, a lot of times you cut them up for rags, but now you can make grocery bags and you don't have to buy any. The next easiest thing that I hope most of us are doing, don't buy plastic water bottles. It may sound like common sense, but a lot of us forget. And I always keep one in the car, just in case. My friend Suzanne actually has 2 in each car door that's always there. to have in case someone else doesn't have it. So when I first started this, it's probably about 5 years ago. It was hard to find products that had zero plastic. But now there is a plethora of them, and it's really refreshing to see that more companies are trying to do this. So plastic-free shampoo and other bathroom items. This is a company, this is Solid Shampoo and Conditioner. And the company, they go out of their way to be environmentally friendly and zero plastic. I'm just going to kind of go through these because a lot of people don't even know that this stuff is available. This is my deodorant. It's a glass jar with a little tin lid. And I know a lot of shower gels are in a huge plastic jar. A lot of those can't be recycled because it's the wrong number. I mean, again, common sense, but a bar of soap, and this, I found this bar of soap with no packaging, so that's even better. Toothpaste, cardboard tube, and their little and this has fluoride. For the longest time, I couldn't find any with fluoride, but I found this company, and you just crush it up and there's your toothpaste, and it's great for traveling. Floss. Glass jar with a little metal lid, and you just buy the refills. Chapstick. I bet most people don't even think about pulling out their plastic thing of chapstick and rubbing it on their lips. Cardboard chapstick. This is lotion in a tin, and when you pull it out, the heat of your body starts to make it get soft. And I know back in the day, nobody used disposable razors. So just get an old school razor. You can't really find them too much in like Walgreens, but I ordered this online, and this company even recycles the blades. You take the blades off and send it back, and they recycle them. There's even makeup. I just brought one thing. This is mascara. And it's just a little brick. You get wet, and then it's got the different, you can use eyeliner or mascara, zero plastic. Now, this isn't zero plastic, but these are sandals made from recycled plastic. And then when you get tired of, when you get tired of them, you can send them back to the company, and then they can, again, be recycled into new sandals. Gum. Does anyone realize that there's petroleum products in gum? This gum is all plant-based, and even the packaging is plastic-free. Another thing for the grocery store, I tend to just put my fruits and vegetables in the cart. But sometimes if you have smaller items, it's hard to do that because it'll fall through. So these are like fruit and vegetable bags instead of using the plastic ones in the store.
What's nice about them is you can bring them home and wash your feet right under the water.
Right, yes. And one of my favorite companies is, and this is another thing I don't think people think about, toilet paper. You go to the store, every package of toilet paper is in plastic. And actually that plastic film is one of the biggest plastic polluters. So I found this company, and they have tissue, paper towels, and toilet paper. And I get the bamboo because it's even more environmentally friendly. And this company is great. At Christmas time, they wrap the toilet paper in these cute little wrapping. So I save it, iron it, and then use it as wrapping paper for gifts. It even has to and from on the thing. It's really amazing. Laundry soap. I've tested so many, and like Michael said, I'm a gardener, so I stink every day. My clothes are really grungy. This company, comes in a cardboard box that's recycled, and they're just little sheets. Amazing. And because I'm smelly a lot, I like to add like smell good stuff, and this is from the same company, but it's in a cardboard tube. And one of my favorite things, it's so cute, whenever you order from them, they put a little note, a handwritten note on it, and this one says, "You're awesome, Caprice." So it's really cute getting that in the mail. And one of the biggest things that I had a hard time finding anything good was dish soap. I don't use a dishwasher, I just hand wash them. And I tried a bunch of different plastic-free ones, and none of them were great. So my old favorite is Dawn, and I was feeling guilty because it was a plastic bottle. And I was out one day, man, there's got to be something I could do. And did a Google search, and they said, use baking soda. I'm like, that is never going to work to get these clean. Hot water, baking soda, it did just as well as the Dawn. I couldn't believe it. And a heck of a lot cheaper and no plastic. Making sure I covered everything. Oh, one thing I did forget to bring, of course, hope everyone's saying no to straws. I hope so. I know a lot of restaurants will try to automatically put it down, but if you constantly think about it, you'll catch them beforehand. That's a big one too. Oh, I forgot to show you. This is another one. It's a bamboo toothbrush. I think that's another thing we don't think about, big chunk of plastic, and you have to replace them very often, so it's just bamboo. And then I keep, if I get invited to a picnic or event or whatever, there's usually always plastic, single-use plastic utensils, so I just keep a little bag of them in my car, and I keep one for me, and then I also keep extras if anybody I know wants to not use plastic, and then now you can find little kits, and you don't even have to go through any of the trouble, just buy the little kit, and it's great. We talked about the plastic wrap, and when I did the League of Women Voters, there was another woman from Maryland that went into a lot of more technical things, and she was very adamant about companies being held accountable, which that is very true. We can only do so much, but even this little bit's going to help. But when a company or small business is taking steps to reduce their plastic usage or otherwise reduce their impact on the environment, commend them for it. And I always do that. If I see a company, especially local, I'm like, oh, thank you, that's really amazing. And that goes a long way. Support them by buying their products. I think most of these companies are small companies. I mean, if they have time to write me a little handwritten note on the box, it's a small company. On the other hand, if a company has a product you love that comes wrapped in unnecessary plastic, contact them to see if there's a way to reduce this. As consumers, we have a lot of power, and over time, companies will hear our collective voice. And like I said earlier, when I first started trying to reduce my plastic, it was very hard to find. I mean, I couldn't find half of this, and the options were a lot less. And now, it's super easy. You just do a Google search. Actually, I've got a little list here of, these are some of my favorites. But even if you don't use any of these, you can do a Google search for plastic-free shampoo or plastic-free whatever, and there will be a lot of options. And if we have time, I'd like to show you the t-shirt bag. So I'm just going to move some of this stuff out of the way. Okay, we'll use this one.
Who doesn't want to buy toilet paper from somebody called Who Gives a
Right? Buck's t-shirts getting made into a bag. Oh, I have a bidet too, but sometimes, you know. Yes. Yeah, sometimes you need a little bit of extra help. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, my daughter actually got me the bidet because she knew how much I try to be environmentally friendly, and it was for a birthday gift. And I love it. And it was funny during the shortage. I'm like, I'm fine. But also, you know, I only have it in one bathroom, so I keep it for guests. And the paper towels are only for, like Suzanne was mentioning, you don't want to clean up cat barf with one of your kitchen towels. So, paper towels.
Friends don't honor the code of the house, so I got rid of all my friends. Spare bathroom, nobody uses anymore.
Okay, so fold it in half. And then the first thing you're going to do is cut the arms off. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. And then the next, you're going to cut the neck, but you're going to cut down a little bit lower so you can sort of see how handles are being made already. Okay. And then the next step, you're going to go to the bottom. And cut like 1-inch strips. I'll cut a few and just kind of show you real quick. Okay, let's get some strips down there at the bottom. So then you're going to tie. Don't need a sewing machine. Scissors and a t-shirt. Other cool things. Other cool things. Okay, so I've tied the initial knots, but you need to make it a little bit stronger. So then what you're going to do is you have 2 strings hanging down from 1 knot. So what you're going to do is take 1 string from this one and then 1 string from the next knot. That way it's extra strong and you're closing up some of the holes. But then you just do that all the way down, and when you get it finished, the bag. And I actually use it to carry in all this stuff. Or you could flip it inside out, or if you want it to be fancy, you could have fringe on the outside.
Yes.
And keep it fringy. Oh. So yeah, you could be fancy, and then you could even use the fabric that you cut off and make little bow ties at the top. But yeah, 10 minutes and an old t-shirt and scissors, and you've got free bags, and you're reducing and reusing. Any questions or comments?
So thank you.
No, it was a great discussion.
This is a great discussion, and we can continue this discussion. Thank you, Caprice.
Of course, Michael.
This was a great thing. All right.
Thank you.
And if you like what we're doing, the Carolina Nature Coalition it survives by donations. We have no grants, so if you like what we're doing, there's a donation box over there, and we'd appreciate it. And if those of you online, just you can go to our website and our address is there, and you can send us some money.